Hello again, and welcome to the third video in the EdgeRater for HGSI users video series, where we will cover more details about using templates in the HGSI template category. In the introduction video, we had a brief look at the reports produced by some of these templates, and in this video, I will show exactly how to locate and run each of the templates and how to interact with the resulting reports. You'll also learn some tips and tricks along the way to make using EdgeRater a breeze. Running any template in EdgeRater is as easy as 1, 2, 3. The steps generally are to locate the template in the template library and select it, choose a symbol list to run the template against, and then press the Run button to view the report. So let's go back to the %B bucket migration template to see how it's done. First of all, let's take a look at the template area of EdgeRater and point out some of the important parts of the screen. On the left-hand side, we have the symbol lists, and there's a drop-down control in the symbol lists allowing you to choose different lists. And on the right-hand side is the template library. There is a scroll bar present so that you can scroll down through the various categories in the library. And in order to select a template, you first have to select the category that the template is located in, and then select the template. And in this video, we're talking about the HGSI templates, and if you scroll down to find the HGSI template category, and it's here, HGSI Woodward and Brown, once you click on that category, then the list of templates that are in the category will appear to the left of that category. And so here you see the list of templates. One of the tips when using EdgeRater is if there are templates that you use frequently, you'll notice that beside each template there's a star, and normally it's gray. But if you select it, it will turn to a gold color, and that means it's your favorite template, one of your favorite templates, and there is a special category of templates which you can find by using the scroll bar over here and scrolling up through the categories. And if you look at the favorites category, everything that you have highlighted with a gold star will appear in the favorites category. So that will be your one place to go every day to run the templates that you regularly run. Now, as I said, the first template we're going to look at is the %B bucket migration template. And this is an update to the original %B buckets template. You can find the original %B buckets template in the Woodward and Brown, HGSI Woodward and Brown category. It's called the %B buckets report. Now, bearing in mind, this is an older version of this template, and it has been revamped to be the %B buckets migration template, which you'll now find in the Pro Tools category. So come up to Pro Tools and use the scroll bar here to look through the templates that are in Pro Tools and look for %B migration. Now you see I've already got a gold star next to mine because this is a template that I do run every day. So find %B migration, and with the %B buckets report or the %B migration template, we normally use the S&P 1500 index to run against. You can of course run against any list you choose, but the S&P 1500 is the good selection of stocks that we regularly use with this template. As I said, running a template is as easy as 1, 2, 3. The first step, locate the template. We've done that. Second step, choose your symbol list. I've got my S&P 1500 list in here. And the third step is to press the Run button. Run is up here. So I'll just go ahead and do that. As I said before, in the lower left, you'll get a progress bar telling you the state of progress of this template. The templates in the Pro Tools category generally take a little bit longer to run than others because they are doing a lot more processing and very specialized calculations. But when it's finished, it will come up and show the report. So now I'm looking, it's switched automatically over to the report viewer. Notice in the lower left of the screen you have the 4 tabs: templates, report viewer, entries and exits, and trade simulation. Well, reports viewer is where you view the reports. So After you've run a template, it automatically shows the report viewer. Okay, so interaction with the %B bucket migration report. By default, it's going to show the very last day of data that you have. So I'm looking at 12/4/2020, and I can see 83% of stocks are above the mid-band, 17% are below the mid-band, and here is the profile of %B for all of those stocks. The dotted lines are yesterday's values, and then I can also see the outflows and inflows to get an idea if stocks are moving up or down within their %B levels. So when you have this report showing, it's often interesting to also have a chart of SPY, and I use SPY as general indicator of the state of the market. It's the ETF that represents the S&P 500. So in order to select SPY, what I would do is I would come over to the chart and click in a blank area on the chart. Don't worry that I just changed the bucket migration view, and then press the space bar, and I can type a symbol in, and I'm going to type SPY, and now I'm looking at a chart of SPY. Now, one way to change the data in the %B bucket migration report and see what the report said for a specific day is to actually select the various bars in the chart area, and you can see the chart will change to the report will change to show the state of the bucket migration on that particular day. In the chart area, I've got a layout here selected, which is it's the VPA layout, but it's not what I really want to use in combination with the %B bucket migration. So I normally come over to my chart layouts and select a more appropriate layout. There are some pre-configured layouts in here, and any that you've configured yourself will appear in under a heading called My Layouts. And you can see that I've got a couple in here, line chart and just general candlesticks. So I'll make it clean and just look at regular candlesticks, and there's a couple of moving averages on here. What you could also do is, once you have a layout, is go to the chart scripts area and add any other indicator you would like to the chart. So if I select in the area now under system indicators, I've just made sure that that is highlighted, and now I can do a Control F to find an indicator that I'm interested in. And if I'm looking for a Bollinger Band type indicator, which is appropriate for %B analysis, I can just type Bollinger, and it will show me all of the indicators that have Bollinger Bands associated with them. So the area Bollinger Bands is a good one. I just drag that over to the main area of the chart, and you can see it puts Bollinger Bands around SPY. And so now I can go over to, I can see exactly when SPY was outside of the Bollinger Bands, and I can click on the bar, and I can see what the state was of all of the stocks in the S&P 1500 on that day. And we see there that there were 250 stocks that were above their upper Bollinger Band. And if you don't, instead of looking at the count of stocks, you can click on the %/count button and change this over to a percentage. And now we can see that has changed to show that it was 17% and change of stocks were above their upper Bollinger Band. And if we click on down here where SPY just peaked out below its lower Bollinger Band, we can see now that 35% of stocks in the SP 1500 were below their lower Bollinger Band. So this is a very useful way of looking at the breadth of the market in terms of %B. Now another way of changing the dates over is you can use the now viewing date over here and just press the next button. If you have a date already selected, here it's 10/28/2020. If I click on next, I'm just going to go through day by day and see where the %B bucket report is for that day. If I want to see on a chart the date that's selected over here, I make sure that I've turned on annotations over here, and it will come up with a little yellow annotation saying this is the day that I'm viewing. So now as I scroll forward through here, you can see that the viewing date changes over on the chart area. So it's a good way of keeping in sync to know that the report was produced for a particular date. And you can see how the breadth of %B changes over time up to the last available day. So that's it for locating and running the %B bucket migration template and how to interact with the report once the report has been produced. Here's a quick tip for locating templates. Over in the template library, press the binoculars icon. This will bring up a web browser showing the complete list of EdgeRater templates. Each template is listed with a title and description of what it does, and at the bottom of the description you'll see the category that contains the template. And now, because this is a web page, you are free to search that page for any topic that you're interested in. So I'm using the Firefox browser. I can press Control F, and now Find In page pops up. And if I'm interested in Bollinger, then it's going to highlight all templates that have Bollinger contained in. So %B bucket migration talks about Bollinger Bands. And then I can just go down through the list. %B buckets per symbol talks about Bollinger Bands. Someone knows something talks about Bollinger Bands, etc. So that's your quick tip on how to locate templates. Now we're going to take a closer look at the US Market Summary template that we already looked at briefly in the introductory video. The US Market Summary template is located in the HGSI Woodward and Brown category. I have it in my favorites as well. And for this template, you do need to have your default data provider set to be HGSI. And all you do is you just hit the run button. You don't need to worry about the symbol list over here because the symbols are built right into this template. Here's another quick tip. If you ever view the reports and you see the chart is just showing a single bar like this, all you have to do is press the zoom out button one time to show more bars. And I've got this chart set to monthly, but I should probably have this on daily. So I'll put it over to daily and then zoom out a little bit more and get as many bars as I want to see there. So the US Market Summary contains the symbols that come from HGSI. So they are in the first set of columns over here, columns B through K, and then they're repeated in columns L through U, the same symbols. So columns L through U is all about %B and where those indexes are in relation to the Bollinger Bands. And that set of columns is color-coded, green, yellow, and red, to indicate the overall state of those indexes. And the values that are in there are the actual value of %B. But mainly, you just really have to look at the color coding to see what's going on. Now, an interaction level, so again, I've clicked on the chart here, and you see that the chart has gone blank. I've clicked on a symbol over here in a cell, the chart has gone blank. It just means that the chart is unsure about the level of zoom that's required. Maybe it was a fixed zoom before, and so all you have to do to reset that, just press the zoom out button and you'll get back to a regular chart. With this report, I like to turn on annotations because I would like to see the bar that I'm pointing to. So the way that you interact with this report is you can actually scroll back through any day and you can see where there, for instance, on 2/24/20, there was a kahuna in the %B 1 day change columns. All of the indexes had a down kahuna. So I can click on any of these indexes and see exactly what that looked like on the day for that particular index. What the chart that's showing is whatever column I've clicked in. Here I've clicked in the NYA column, so it's showing me the chart for NYA index, but I can equally click over into the other columns, or just use my keyboard to cursor over and select the other cells. So EdgeRater will figure out what needs to be shown on the chart. It will look through the column information, it will find there's a symbol there, and it will show the chart. Here is IWM for that day. So this was your big kahuna down day, big warning day, as Ian would say. A 5 bucket move in most of the indexes. You want to sit up and pay attention here, and that was exactly right in this case, because you came from having a fairly somewhat mixed before, but you did get into green area of %Bs, which normally indicates that Everything is okay for trading, but then we had this big warning day here, and from that point on, the percent B levels in all of the indexes stayed in the red area, and this was an area to pay attention to, that you did not want to be trading long in this zone. And as you can see, as we go down through the days here, that was exactly the case. You really need a green for an all clear. When you see a row of blue here, this is an up kahuna, and that can lead to more favorable conditions for alongside trades. But in this case, we do not see the percent Bs change to yellow, and what we would hope to see is for them to change to yellow and then to green to indicate an all clear. But in this case, they stayed red. Again, it tried, and that was the day here where a lot of the indexes had this percent B 1 day change above 0.27. So there was an attempt for a rally here, but it didn't hold. And again, down here on 313, another attempt at a rally. It didn't hold. We stayed red in the percent B levels. But finally, we did come into yellows in all of the markets, and this did lead to the final kahuna down here, row of green, percent B 1 day change greater than 0.27, and that did signal the all clear. Everything went from yellow to green, and then the market was healthy for trading on the long side. But you did get some mixed warnings coming in here with the yellows, but they didn't stay very long, and they went quickly back to green again. Okay, current situation. So we had a row of red over here, so that was a warning. Again, this was a big bucket move down, and definitely a warning. Sit up and pay attention. Okay, it turned out that this didn't lead to further lower prices, but it was still a good warning to pay attention to. Okay, if you're looking for alongside trades and you want to be trading in healthy markets, then you just have to wait for the greens to appear. Okay, which occurred back over here. Okay, so in this whole market this year, we've had some red conditions. It's been quite a tricky market to trade, because there's been lots of one-day changes in percent B that have given everybody a little bit of a warning, and it's been very tricky to trade on the short side and on the long side. So this shows you the state of the market currently. As of December the 4th, we are in a green condition. So the market is reasonable for trading on the long side at this point in time. So that's it for US market summary template, and what it shows you and how to interact with it and bring up the charts to show you and annotate what you're looking at over in the report. It's reflected over in the chart too. Now, once we had the US market summary template produced, Ian Woodward and Ron Brown thought it would be a good idea to have a similar kind of color coding on various other groupings. And so there is also a sector ETFs summary template, a 2 and 3x bear ETF summary template, a 2 and a 3x bull ETF summary template, and a country ETF summary template. And if you run those, they will look like this. This is the country one. So again, you get color coding based on percent B, and you get the percent B 1 day change color coding too. The sector ETFs are here with their various color codings. The 2 and 3x bear ETFs are here, and the 2 and 3x bull ETFs are right here. So remember, with these reports, the numbers are not so important. You can actually zoom out. Another quick tip for zooming in or out of reports is to have the report selected, and you can use at the top here the zoom in and zoom out. So if I zoom out of this report, I then get to see just the colors. So it gives me a very clear idea across all of these ETFs where we stand. Okay, and it always stands out if you see a row of red in the percent B 1 day changes or a row of blue. It's very significant. So that did change the percent Bs over to yellow, and it was kind of a mixed market for a while. and has been mixed pretty much all of that time. We didn't really get into a big sea of green until recently. But there have been periods in the past where you've had quite a nice row of green, which has been more quiet conditions suitable for long side trades in the market. Okay, so you can run that on any of the summary templates that are in the HGSI Woodward and Brown category. Now let's take a look at the warehouse report in more detail. So one of the interesting points this year was after we had the big meltdown in the market, and then on 4/6/20 we had the kahunas come in, which led to a recovery in the market. It would be interesting to go and see the state of the warehouse on this day and get a report of the difference between the warehouse then, using some of the fields like ERG, boxes, etc., and see which groupings performed best from that day to either one of the days up here or to present day. So just for simplicity's sake, I'm going to say to present day, which happens to be an all-time high in the market. So let's do that. In the templates area, it would be the warehouse report. So you find HGSI category, you go down to find the warehouse report, and remember in the previous videos I talked about doing the convert warehouse HTML, and if you do that on a regular basis every day, you will have a warehouse report for the day that you're interested in measuring from. So I happen to have a warehouse report very close to the specific day that I mentioned here. So the specific day was 4/6/20, and I happen to have saved a warehouse report for a very close day. So let's browse and locate my warehouse archive folder, and here's all the archives I have. This is just a demo machine, so I have plenty more of these archives, but on the demo machine I only have these, and I've copied over my 408 warehouse. So I'm going to open that, and I now want to run the report from 4/8/2020, that would be fine, to present day. So I can select this, and I can just choose, I'll say 12/31/20. That's beyond today's date, but that's okay. That will just run through to the last bar. And in here, the create snapshot is an interesting feature in that if you don't already have a set of data built into a symbol list that you're interested in, then when you say auto create snapshot, EdgeRater will take a look at the warehouse file that you've saved, get all the symbols, extract the information that it needs from HGSI, and then run the report based on that data. That step can take a few minutes, and so if you have already done that step, you do not need to do that for the next time, and so running reports is a lot quicker the second and third times that you do it. So for this time I'm going to say yes, I'm going to create the snapshot this time. And after I click on OK, you'll see the settings have been updated in here. This now looks OK for everything I'm interested in, and then I can just go ahead and press the run button. Now it's going to build the snapshot here, and this is the thing that takes the time. So I will pause the video until that's done. Okay, the snapshot's been built, and now it's just going to run this report against this symbol list. Okay, so the warehouse report's finished, and we've come over to the report viewer. It's just now showing you the template info, but you see there are various sheets within this workbook that you can take a look at. So the dashboard is an interesting one. This will give you the overall view of all of the data that's been analyzed, and you can see here that ERG, the number that is a combination of earnings, relative strength, and group strength. You can see that the very lowest ERG numbers actually performed quite well, but you also have to bear in mind that there weren't as many of those stocks that had those low ERG numbers. So the The grey line that you can see in the background is the count of stocks that fall into those ERG thresholds. So the 1 to 10 threshold, very few stocks, but that happened to have a 280% gain since 4820. The 11 to 20 level had a 600% gain. Again, very few of those stocks. That's roughly, we're looking at there, roughly 20 stocks in that at that level, but they had a huge gain. And then you can see that the trend kind of goes down all the way through to the end, and it's only at the very upper end, the once you start getting beyond 230 in terms of ERG, that you started to get a better performance. But again, you can see the majority of stocks had an ERG of 141 to 150, and so there's way fewer stocks on this side of it. But you can see the EPS rank, so you take out ERG into its respective components, and you've got EPS rank, relative strength rank, and group rank, and you can see how they individually performed. So again, the very lowest EPS ranks had a better performance, and it came down into the middle and then started to ramp up towards the better ERG ranks. Relative strength rank, the very lowest relative strength ranks did okay, and then up at the high end you started to get a little bit more of a bump, but the lowest ones did better. And then in group rank, you had the very lowest groups did better. Some of the middling levels, the ranks did better, and then the end ones started to improve a bit too. In terms of AD letter rank, the letter E, if for all stocks that had letter rank E, they performed best with an average of 160% gain. Letter rank A's only had a roughly, what's that, about a 15% gain, and so there's quite a trend here in the lowest letter ranks did better. And then in terms of HGS boxes, you can see that box 1, 5, and 9, boxes 1, 5, and 9 performed best. Now in this spreadsheet, you can see this essentially is a workbook, and you can see there are tabs at the bottom of the workbook, so you can go and investigate the data. The dashboard shows you the overall view of the data, but if you want to go to any of the individual calculations, you can see a little bit more information. So let's go, for instance, to the EPS rank worksheet, and this data has been copied out into the dashboard, but here it is in full in the EPS rank sheet, and now you can see the actual numbers in here. So you can see how many stocks were in those particular ranks, and you can see the exact percent change. And if we come back further over here, we can see the warehouse. This is a copy of how the warehouse looked on that day. There's this missing data tab. So in the time from when the report was started until today, some of the stocks are no longer available in the warehouse. So if they're not available, they've been put into this missing data sheet, so you can get an idea that what's been missing, and there are 716 stocks that are not able to be located, so you have to bear that in mind too. And then the percent gains worksheet is really the calculation for the other worksheets. So it tells you the close price at the start date, the close price at the end date, and then there's a percent change column. Again, these are all linked, as most EdgeRater templates, to charts. If you ever see a blank chart, just click on the zoom out button, and as you go through here, you'll just be able to see each of these stocks, and you can of course sort them like any other EdgeRater report. And as I go down through this list now, you'll often get blanks in here, because blank charts in here, because the zoom level isn't appropriate for all of these charts. So but by just scrolling down, you can get a good idea of how these different stocks performed. So that's another way to look at individual stocks there. But this report is not really about individual stocks, it's about grouping them into their groupings of EPS rank, ERG, relative strength rank, etc. And there is another feature just recently been added to this report where you can define your very own custom field to analyze. So the instructions for doing this is if you open up the template itself, you can then make a change to this template to put your own custom field in. I'll just show you where templates are all stored. So in your Documents EdgeRater templates folder, there is a list of system templates. So in the root of the templates folder, that's where if you ever write your own template, you would put it in here. But templates that are managed by EdgeRater and downloaded automatically are all put into here, into the system folder. Then you should be able to find HGSI warehouse report. It's right here. And if I open this up in Excel, this is how you could modify templates. It's directly within Excel. So here's my template, and the custom field is right here. So if I wanted to, and it tells you here how you would change this to get your own field from the warehouse and analyze that field. So basically you put the name of the field in here, you copy this worksheet, so you can create more than just this custom field, you can have other custom fields, and then you would save this template and copy it over into the templates area. It will then appear as your own template in the My Templates category in EdgeRater. And by copying it into here, it just means that it's not going to be overwritten. Any changes that you make are not going to be overwritten on the next template update. So you put it into the root of the templates folder, and it's safe from being overwritten. But I'm going to delete that for now because I don't need it. Anyway, so you can put your own field in there, and the field that is in here as an example is just the last close field. So it's really just a report of price, which price stocks perform better in that time. So you can see that the $0 to $10 stocks outperformed with approximately 120% gain, and there were a lot more of those stocks, about 2,500 of them, and the above 90s over here on the very end, the above 90s, there was approximately 800 of those, but everything else seemed to perform roughly the same. $20 to $30 stocks had the worst performance, but the best performing stocks were the 0 to 10s. So that's the HGSI warehouse report, and that wraps it up for this video on using templates in the HGSI templates category. In the next video, we'll look at using some of the other templates and just goes through some of the powerful templates in EdgeRater and how you can use those against any symbol list, including the list of industry group indexes from HGSI. So see you in the next video.